things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubt. And I have my doubt that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. That we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out.
Good evening. Hope everybody's doing all right this evening. I hope you had a good weekend. Wow, has it been busy keeping up? It really sucks that I don't have the regular channel to be kind of doing these and giving these updates. I don't know if I'll have it back tomorrow or the next day, or for sure when I'll have it back. I got the strike overnight, so I'll know one of these upcoming mornings. I'll magically have the ability to post on the regular channel. So anyway, wow, lots of stuff involving the U.S. convoy since we've last spoke. There is a I guess I'll start with one of the earlier events. I don't know if any of you have been watching the live streams. I'll give you two channels. What is the one? It's Today with Julius is one of the channels. Today with Julius, and the other one is Oreo Express. That ought to be easy to remember. Oreo Express, and those are two good channels to watch, to keep up on where they're at, what they're doing. They do a really good job of what they do, and so anyway, I watched them, and I watched Trucker G, and anyway, early on, there was a truck that you just could not miss, and it was a Penske truck, and so it was bright yellow, and it had a flatbed, and on the flatbed it had a beautiful, gorgeous banner. And anyway, apparently, Penske, both Penske and I'm assuming where he worked for, both got pissed off at what he was doing. So Penske, he was renting the truck because apparently his truck's in the shop, and so Penske told him that they didn't want their truck in the convoy. To make matters worse, to my knowledge, he lost his job because I guess it was their trailer that he had, and anyway. Not sure. I know the latest I heard they were going to try to find this guy something so that he could complete the trip. Something he could drive so he could complete the trip. So that's one update I have. If you've been kind of watching along and remember in the beginning seeing a gorgeous Penske truck with an even more gorgeous banner that it was pulling behind it. Anyway, hopefully that gentleman gets back in the game. Illinois had put out a statement yesterday and more or less condemning the convoy, essentially, and kind of trying to fearmonger a bit the citizens of Illinois. And I thought it was absolutely insane. Hang on, let me bring that up. I know I got it somewhere. Hang on. Hang on. I thought that was that thing over there. Anyway, I'll tell you later. Hang on. I know where it's at. I just got to get to it. Fun times. I'm looking for, I didn't realize there was this much stuff posted. Wow. Hang on. Well, crap. Dang it, man. I don't even know where to begin. Hang on. Here we go. I think it's in this one. Yes, I got it. Mission successful. Sorry it took me 10 years. Alright, here we go. Here is the actual press release. Illinois State Police warn motorists of potential traffic flow issues stemming from convoy. And it says as follows. The Illinois State Police cautions motorists who engage in acts that could endanger the safety of the motoring public. Illinois State Police officials have become aware of a planned event along several interstate corridors scheduled for Saturday, February 26, 2022, Saturday, March 5th, 2022, where truck drivers plan to conduct a convoy causing traffic delays and potentially crashes. Right? There's not been any incidents. Not a single incident, right? Illinois State Police Division of Patrol Colonel Margaret McGreal stated, though the Illinois State Police respects the rights of citizens to express their opinions in a lawful manner, there is a great concern with any event that is designed to impede or block the normal and reasonable movement of traffic. Colonel McGreal continued, traffic backups are a major contributing cause to traffic crashes, which lead to property damage, personal injury, and even death. A planned event designed to impede normal traffic flow is dangerous to the innocent motoring public. Those who choose to participate in events that intentionally endanger the public and violate Illinois law will be subject to the enforcement of applicable laws and could potentially be held liable for traffic crashes occurring as a result of their actions. The Illinois State Police urges all motorists to abide by traffic laws for the safety of all. So anyway, that came out yesterday, and Brian Brazzi did respond to that, and let me turn the volume back up, and we'll listen to what he had to say.
Tell you something I learned tonight. Illinois State Police just put out a bulletin. They put out a little press release for immediate release, it says, without naming names, but basically saying we're not welcomed in their state. I'm not kidding. I'm literally, it's not a joke. Illinois State Police put it out that they don't believe in our convoy by using some different words, but basically saying we're going to hold you accountable for slowing up our traffic if you come through here.
Not their supply.
I don't know yet what that means for us. We got a lot of logistical planning that we got to go through, but I think you all deserve to know that the state of Illinois basically told us, don't come here.
Don't give them any.
So I'm going to say this right now, and hopefully it's being live streamed all over the country. To the citizens of the state of Illinois, please let your state government know that you want us there. To the citizens, the truck drivers, the nurses, the teachers, and the police officers of the state of Illinois, remind them that they work for us.
So, and that has been essentially the war cry. Pretty much at the end of every speech that he gives, that is what he says. Remind them that they work for us. An absolutely incredible job. And I'll tell you what, I can't tell you the amount of times I've been choked up by watching them approach some of the overpasses that they do. And what makes it really cool with watching like Oreo Express or Today with Julian, or Today with Julius, sorry, is that what they will do is get ahead of the convoy, and they will go up and kind of show you the people that are on the overpasses, and they'll kind of hang with them a little bit as the convoy goes through. And, then they'll get back in their vehicle and get back with the convoy and get back up front. And they'll do that again at another overpass that has a ton of people. And there are so many overpasses with people. In fact, there's very few overpasses that don't have anybody. Here and there, you might get an overpass that has one or two or a handful of people. But most of them have a fair amount. And as they come up on these larger populated areas, oh my goodness, it is insane. And right before they right when they were coming in to where they stopped tonight, it was their biggest gathering yet. And I mean, there were just people everywhere. And the convoy, one of the streamers, I think it was I think it was Oreo Express, had asked an officer if they had any idea of the size of the convoy, if they had heard. And the officer said that he had heard that it was some 7,000 vehicles and 30 miles long. So that's what the officer said on the live stream. That was in Oklahoma, and that, I'm telling you, it is just amazing the turnouts that they're getting and the show of support that they're getting. And again, if you want to, I urge you to check out Oreo Express and Today with Julian, and or it's Julius. I keep screwing that up. Today with Julius. Anyway, they're both traveling in the same vehicle together. And I think they each have a different carrier. So once in a while, one of them won't be able to get a signal, but the other one will. And so that's why it's a good idea to kind of have them both subbed anyway. And those are on YouTube. Trucker G, you can find him on YouTube, Facebook. Oreo Express is no longer on Facebook because Facebook took his personal account away because of what he's doing, live streaming the convoy. That was nice of them. So anyway, got that going on. Like I say, that's pretty much, that's the updates when it comes to the convoy. I don't have tabs up for you like I do a lot of times, because there's several headlines to go over, and I figured we'd just run through the headlines. Doing a long drug out news show when I'm just over here on the backup channel, kind of pointless. So anyway, the world is bigger than the United States, and the convoy here to my knowledge, Tamara Rice and Pat King have still been denied bail. I don't know what the status is on people's bank accounts or anything like that up there. It's crazy. And I'm sure people are probably wondering, well, what about the damn elephant in the room? Things with this whole Ukraine-Russia situation is reaching a pretty serious level. And it is definitely time to take note of what is going on. I would advise, if you have it within your capability, to make sure you're prepped up for radiological situations. I sure the hell wished we could. It is what it is. It's not cheap to do so, but I suggest that you get yourself a decent device to be able to check radiation level, and iodide tablets, what have you, and if you can, gas masks, whatever. The thing of it is, it's just not about buying gas masks. It's just not about taking iodide tablets or anything like that. You also need to know what you need to do, where you need to go. You need to know, where the likely threats are in your area. You may be in an area to where you're just, SOL. We could be, and depending, we've got a lot of targets around us. Plain and simple. I mean, we don't have as many as a lot of other areas, but we have a fairly large amount of targets around us. We have the Military Airlift Command Center, Scott Air Force Base. That's not too far away. Patoka, Illinois is not super far away, and Patoka has a huge, huge oil field where they store a ton of the U.S. reserves. So that's a strategic target. We've got several. I mean, like I say, Scott and Patoka alone are big enough. Then, of course, you got St. Louis that's just right there. And that's going to be a target because of just the population center. So that doesn't mean that we're going to be wiped off the face of the earth. So I highly recommend, and same with you, unless you live in Kansas, and I'm just kidding, Steve. Unless you live in Kansas, you have a chance. And yeah, you too, Steve. You even in Kansas, you got a chance. I don't know that it would come to that, but folks need to understand that Russia is, they have raised their alert status for their nuclear deterrence. And I want to make sure I say this very clearly. Our unofficial DEFCON level, because if you really know that the government, they do have different levels of readiness, which is classified. There are individuals that also run a separate, it's a private kind of deal, a DEFCON level, and many of you have probably heard about it, but I want to make it very clear that that's not an official government thing. But they have lowered that to DEFCON 2. And just a reminder for those that never knew, DEFCON 5 is the lowest level of warning. DEFCON 1 would mean that nuclear war is either imminent or already in progress. We are currently at a DEFCON 2. That is essentially the same readiness status, the readiness alert level, as what Russia is now. So Russia raised their level, we apparently raised ours. It makes sense. This is a serious situation. The last time, I think 9/11 or something, we went to this. I don't know if we've been at this level since 9/11, but this is a big deal. Before 9/11, I think it was the Cuban Missile Crisis, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not something that should be taken lightly. So that's something to definitely pay attention to. Again, have your preps in order. And, do I think that there's going to be a massive nuclear exchange? I hope not. And I hope that my answer isn't filled with hope. But I don't think so, and I hope I'm not just saying that because it's wishful thinking. But I don't think so. Do I think there will ever at all be a nuclear exchange? There's a probability of it, but I think it's going to be a limited exchange. I don't think it's going to come down to MAD or mutually assured destruction. I don't think it's going to come to that. And at this particular point, I would say that we would more likely be looking at some type of a cyber threat before any type of a nuclear conflict. So just make sure you're prepped up. I mean, we preach it all the time, and there's a reason for it. We live in a crazy time, and there is just so much instability in the world. And whether it be the stuff going on in our own government or, in our own lives or what have you, there's also a big world out there that's awful unstable right now. And things aren't looking good. I'll tell you what. I thought, my personal thoughts involving Russia, Ukraine, I thought, okay, well, maybe he's just going to kind of move in and just kind of absorb, Donetsk and Lugansk, and that would be that. No big deal. That would be that. He'd absorb that, annex it, or whatever they call it. I don't know. And it'd be done and over. But that's not the case. And I don't know if he's truly, after taking over the entirety of Ukraine, it looks like it. I don't know if he's got any plans, and nobody does except him, if he's got any plans of pushing past that and going any further. But I do I do take his posture, if you will, serious, and I'm keeping a very close eye on it, and I recommend you do so as well. So that's going on. I can't think of anything else that stands out off the top of my head. Now, let me have a sip of coffee here. Oh, goodness. Yeah, pretty much all day today I've had, actually had one of the Oreo Express I normally put up on the TV up there. And then I usually put 1 or 2 channels up on my computer here. And then I can dial in either audio, whether I want the audio from the TV or I want the audio from the computer. I can just dial either one up and the other one down. And it makes it kind of nice to kind of keep an eye on what's going on. And I, like I say, I keep Oreo Express up there, and I might be watching something news related or whatever over on the computer here. And if I look over on the TV and I see, they're at another overpass or something like that, it's kind of cool. I can just kind of pause the video or whatever, turn that audio up, and check it out. So it's been kind of an enjoyable journey with them, if you will. It's been kind of cool. So I can't wait. I don't know if they've got, I'm sure people here will plan something. I'm sure of it. And so while I don't plan to go out to an overpass or anything, what I plan on doing is restreaming probably Oreo Express, and I'm hoping that our channels live are back unsuspended or whatever, our regular channel, and I can go live on it and restream Oreo Express as he comes through where it is that we live, the area that we live. And I'm curious how many people that we get to stand out there. So we have a little community group that I had started for Highland here. And because we've got 2 other groups, and one of them's echo chamber for one political side, and the other's an echo chamber for the other political side. And it's a shame that people can't have conversations, So I started up a group that I don't care who you are, come and say what you will, just try to be decent to one another. That's all I ask. And so far it's been largely successful. So, but there has been a fair amount of interest in it. When I posted about it, there's also been some hate, and I'm calling it hate. I don't mean it that way, but I mean there has been some resistance, if you will, to the idea, and that's par for the course. The whole idea of this whole convoy to begin with is to fight for those freedoms, to have that freedom of choice, to make the choice. So anyway, just a lot of stuff to keep an eye on. Gonna have another sip here, and I'll start doing some headlines. And I think Brian's doing an incredible job at when he gives his speeches and stuff. He's been doing really, really good. Wonder what he posted here. Oh. They will be leaving Big Cabin, Oklahoma tomorrow morning at approximately 8 a.m. And they'll stop for a rally at 102 Carson Boulevard in St. Robert, Missouri. Let's see. Okay. So that's what's up for tomorrow, what they're releasing about tomorrow's trip. But But anyway, and again, they are coming through Illinois. I don't know if I said that earlier or not. They are coming through Illinois. They're not gonna reroute. Blue. Hang on. They're not gonna reroute around Illinois. I think maybe Trucker G might have got his wires crossed or something like that. He put out a video and made it sound like they were gonna reroute around, and even Brian in that video that I played a while ago kind of made it sound that way. But they did put out a statement today clarifying that they are not rerouting. I'm planning on going the route that they had already put out. So it is what it is. Oh, well, looky there. Somebody right there in the comments said F Illinois. So, and this this had nothing about Illinois in this particular post that he put out 7 minutes ago, but F Illinois anyway. Fun times. All right. Do I need a polka dog? She's being ornery. In other words, normal. Alright, let's do some headlines here. Starting with headlines from Friday, of course. Okay, making sure there was no official announcements on Telegram or anywhere else. Alright. Friday. EU says new sanctions will strip Russia of prosperous future. Macron reveals details of call with Putin. Australia and Japan announce new Russia sanctions. Ukraine asks for anti-war coalition with Eastern European nations. U.S. Congress wants to expel Russia from UN Security Council, says the media. Russian military confirms seizure of Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Again, this is Friday's news. Russia closes airspace to British planes. Turkey replies to Kiev's request to close Dardanelles for Russian warships. Georgia won't join West in sanctioning Russia over Ukraine. Rape victims systematically failed by UK criminal justice system, says a report. Ukraine bans transactions in Russian and Belarusian rubles. Russia-Ukraine conflict redraws Europe's aviation map. Zelensky says he is Russia's #1 target. A Hollywood actor making documentary in Ukraine. NASA comments on U.S.-Russia space cooperation in wake of Ukraine crisis. Zelensky suggests he and Putin negotiate. Russia comments on capture of Ukraine's Black Sea island outpost. A tiny Pacific nation cuts diplomatic ties with Russia over Ukraine. Ukraine-based game developers hope for the best. Manchester United sever ties with Aeroflot. Peskov sees positive signs in Zelensky's remarks. Panicked Ukrainians and Russians rush to ATMs. Again, this is Friday's news. Ukraine removes age restriction to join the army. Russia says it captured airfield outside Kiev. Russia ready to start talks on Ukraine. China denies being strained by association with Russia, or stained, not strained, stained. Counter sanctions against West to hit its weak spots, says Moscow. EU to sanction Putin personally, says Austria. Germany's complete blockade of Russian banks excludes gas payments. Ukraine needs more than advice from the West, says Erdogan. Game footage being shared as Ukraine videos. You always get a lot of craziness like that when stuff like this goes on. Bomb explodes on football team's bus. Where was that? I don't know if it happened in Brazil. It may have happened in Brazil. Putin tells Ukrainian military to take power into their hands. Pope departs from diplomatic protocol over Ukraine. Britain rules out active role in Ukraine. And again, we're still on Friday. Poland and Czech Republic closing airspace to Russian airlines. Council of Europe expels Russia, says Italian foreign minister. Americans get more bad news on inflation. Fortunes of Russia's richest decline dramatically. IOC calls for global ban on Russian flag and anthem at sports events. Russian watchdog to restrict access to Facebook. I mean, there's a lot of craziness going back and forth. It's happening pretty quickly too. Ireland cancels visa requirements for Ukrainians. A drug maker to pay record sum in opioid settlement, and that is Johnson & Johnson. Biden reveals his SCOTUS pick. State of Chernobyl plant revealed after fighting. German spy chief evacuated from Ukraine, says reports. UK to sanction Putin for maximum pain. Ukraine proposed talks, then disappeared, says Kremlin. Ukraine's president releases new video. Again, still on Friday. Should be coming up Saturday here soon, I would think. Serbia reveals decision on Russia sanctions. Russia's largest airline responds to UK suspension. NATO sending more weapons to Ukraine, says Stoltenberg. 12,000 Chechens ready to deploy in Ukraine, says Kadyrov. China respects Russia's actions amid crisis in Ukraine, says Z. U.S. to sanction Putin, says the White House. Meta sends message to ordinary Russians. And I found that very interesting, right? Check this out. So, Meta, which is Facebook's parent company, check this out. Meta VP for Global Affairs Nick Clegg said on Friday that his company wants Russians to use Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp to make their voices heard as they organize for action. You hear that? So they're trying to help, they want to help them be able to stand up against their government. While at the same time, they're taking people like Oreo Express, for example, and completely wiping out his personal account in which he needed to admin his business page. And apparently he had advertisement, monetization and stuff set up on Facebook. So apparently there's a quite of a chunk of money that he is out, that he is just out because of what Facebook decided to do. They just literally, for no good reason, snuffed his personal account. And this is stupid. Anyway, Zelensky agreed to talks with Kremlin, venue being discussed, says Kiev. UK bans all Russian private jets from UK airspace. What about prop planes? I mean, are they okay? Just jets? Or I'm kidding, joking. EU sanctions Putin and Lavrov. U.S. unveils sanctions against Putin. Lavrov says Russia's Security Council. U.S. resolution on Ukraine is blocked. My back. Twitter announces new policy on Russia and Ukraine. Canada sanctions Putin, reveals stance on SWIFT. Reports of explosions in northwest Kiev. A U.S. offer to evacuate Zelensky, says a report. And time for a sip of coffee. I'm on yesterday now. Or at least the news I tweeted out yesterday. Sorry, I gotta have a vape. Been quite a few headlines and quite a few developments. And one thing you aren't seeing a lot of headlines about, though, is the convoy. Isn't that interesting? That's okay. That's why I'm keeping on top of it. Alright. It's the stuff I put out yesterday. UK issues new travel advisory for Russia. Facebook places new penalties on Russian state media. Biden orders more aid to Ukraine. A Russian gold and forex reserves smash historic high. Territorial gains not Moscow's goal in Ukraine, says Russia's EU envoy. Bulgaria bans Russian planes. Boris Johnson speaks Russian and Ukrainian. Well, good for him. EU reveals maximum impact Russia sanctions. Regulator probes Elon Musk and his brother. Ukraine says high-rise residential building shelled in Kiev. Zelensky calls for urgent decision on Ukraine's EU membership. Ukraine's defense ministry posted fake video as air battle. Moscow may nationalize assets of foreigners, says former Russian president. Ukraine undermined dialogue for years, says Moscow. Australia suspends RT broadcast. Yeah, I'll tell you what. There's all kinds of stuff. I'm sure you know about RT being hacked. Supposedly, Anonymous claims to have hacked them. I take that with a grain of salt. I think there's a 3-letter agency that probably did it. I mean, it's easy to just push it off on Anonymous. But anyway, RT has been getting hell over all this. Russia shuts airspace to Polish, Czech, and Bulgarian planes. Ukraine's leadership has rejected negotiations, says the Kremlin. Macron says Ukraine conflict will last. U.S. warship sails through Taiwan Strait. Russia accuses Ukrainian nationalists of shelling residential areas. Russian ship seized by French authorities. Chinese banks limit financing for Russian purchases, says media. Ukraine tries to enlist Elon Musk against Russia. A final review of Russia's relations with West now possible, says former president. Yeah, final review. Crypto firms poach big tech talent to overhaul the internet. U.S. strikes terrorists. Russia's space agency responds to Western sanctions. China and North Korea to cooperate under new situation. I found that to be an interesting headline. And then North Korea turns around and launches another test missile. That'll be up a ways. Germany makes U-turn on sending weapons to Ukraine. Russia reacts to Council of Europe suspension. Finland NATO initiative cracks boat threshold. Biathlon chiefs issue decision on Russian and Belarusian athletes. Belarusian athletes. Moscow and Kiev issue update on Ukrainian border guards reported killed. U.S. EU considering final decision on Russia's SWIFT ban, says media. Swedish sports minister calls for EU to exile Russians over illegal and deeply unjust invasion. Sanctions are only alternative to Third World War, says Biden. YouTube cuts off RT channels. US, EU, UK, and Canada announced new restrictions against Russia. Still on yesterday. Lukashenko responds to potential nuke deployment rumors. North Korea fires suspected ballistic missile. Musk agrees to help Ukrainian government. Videos purport to show blazes at oil depots near Kiev and Lugansk. Germany closes airspace to Russia. And let me have a sip of coffee. We are to today. And thank goodness it was a little quieter today. A little. Of course, there's a headline hovering up there now. Let me get that put out so it'll be at the top when we're done here. It's out on Twitter. Now I got to get it out on Facebook. Fun times. Okay. On the home stretch. Alright. Here's the stuff I started putting out this morning. Chinese embassy points to real threat. Chinese embassy points to real threat to the world. Trump says NATO and U.S. acted dumb. Video shows Russian and Ukrainian troops guarding Chernobyl plant together. Australia to fund lethal arms for Ukraine. Yeah, apparently they came to some kind of an agreement or something. So, SWIFT preparing to disconnect Russia, which I just want to add in. Putin had said that if we did this, if we took measures like this, cutting them off from SWIFT, that would be like an act of war. That would be an act of war. And that they would essentially, I'm paraphrasing, but they would respond accordingly. So, we did this, and then they upped their nuclear deterrent level. Anyway, Facebook and Twitter respond to Russian operation in Ukraine. EU to paralyze assets of Russian central bank. China lifts all restrictions on wheat imports from Russia. China speaks out against sanctions over Ukraine. West cuts Russians' access to golden passports. More EU nations to provide weapons to Ukraine. See, this is escalating very quickly. Thousands of ghost flights left UK during pandemic. Zelensky invites foreigners to fight for Ukraine. Bank of Russia responds to Western threats. Moscow sends negotiating team, but Ukraine rejects summit location. UK warns of Russia-NATO conflict. Russia's vast offshore reserves could roil international money markets. Ukraine agrees to hold talks with Russia and Belarus, says Moscow. Lukashenko describes conditions for nuclear deployment. Putin orders Russian nuclear deterrent forces to be on highest alert. UK to pitch hit list of Russian oligarchs. Belarus's Lukashenko warns of World War III. North Korea names root cause of Ukraine crisis. Germany to hike defense spending and buy new weapons. Ukraine frees and arms felons arms felons to fight Russia, prosecutor confirms. Ukraine vows not to surrender. EU to ban RT and Sputnik. EU closes skies to Russian aircraft. U.S. claims Russia is manufacturing threats. Turkey restricts Russian Navy access. Activists accuse Ukrainian authorities of abusing black people. Belarus carries out constitutional referendum. EU reveals major update on weapons for Ukraine. Russian military confirms casualties in Ukraine operation. Ukraine calls on WHO to stop cooperating with Russia. Kiev's mayor says city encircled and then backtracks. EU to send fighter jets to Ukraine. Ukraine accuses Moscow of planning acts of genocide in UN court filing. Kosovo asks for permanent U.S. base and NATO membership. That's a big thing to watch for, too. Russia to evacuate citizens from Europe. Denmark to allow citizens to fight in Ukraine. European Commission head says EU wants Ukraine in. Switzerland comments on possible Russian asset freeze. And that's it. That's the headlines. So again, it's crazy. It is absolutely mind-blowing everything that is that's going on and how quick it's transpiring. So again, keep a close eye on all these different things. Don't stay focused into one thing or another too much because I'm telling you, there is a lot going on right now. Anyway, I am going to go ahead and sneak out of here and relax the rest of the evening. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully on the normal channel, the regular channel. If not, maybe the following day or maybe the day. Hell, I don't know. Anyway, we're getting there. It might be tomorrow or the next day. We'll be back over on the regular channel. So, anyway, I hope you all have a good evening. Hope to see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you and be one with your spirit. Shalom.